nothing on here which is old people friendly. Press source for USB BT line in. I'm sure all this makes perfect sense to the fetus that designed it, but to anyone over 65, it is just incomprehensible gibberish. Before I had a chance to get to grips with the Citroën... Oh, for f***'s sake. Richard was back with the car he'd bought, a Fiat Multipla, famous for having 3 seats in the front and 3 in the back. To decide what to do with it, we set up a mood room. All top designers use rooms like this to put them into the actual mind of the customers they're trying to attract. So, for example, we have an early vacuum cleaner, a one-bar heater, a TV listings magazine, many of which are available, with the programmes we want to watch highlighted.
It really is just like being in James May's front room.
Well, where do you think we got everything from? I think what I'm seeing with every single thing in here is simplicity and comfort. Comfort on the Volgalore chair, simplicity of the mop, drinks globe, the kettle, the TV, everything is simple.
It's simple, straightforward, and yet in the case of this small sofa, also strangely itchy.
After several intense hours in the mood room, we at least knew what colour our car should be, so we went off to get some paint.
Excuse me, you know this machine? Yep. Can you match the colours of things?
Yep, you sure?
Can you match the colour of this hearing aid? This bit, specifically that bit, yeah. That is a symphony in beige.
That's the colour we want.
Come on.
But it can really do that, so analyse the colour of the hearing aid. Can it do my left nipple?
With the paint sorted, we went back to the Top Gear Technology Centre to begin work.
Look at this dash. Speedo, out of focus, radio, too complicated. It's all going to be changed, all of it.
I've been thinking about safety, and not just for the car's occupants. So, with that in mind, old people find it very difficult to look around when they're reversing. It's just a fact. So I'm planning a system for the rear to help them stop reversing into garage walls and lampposts with their wives. I'm also planning much bigger door mirrors. Then, at the front, a radical redesign of the front bumper to avoid and minimise expensive body weight. Thinking.
After several hours, Jeremy's dashboard was beginning to take shape.
Airbags.
Yeah.
Dangerous, because you're not allowed to put children in the front seat with them there, are you? Because they're too delicate.
Yeah.
Old people, they tend to sit quite far forward, even when they're not driving.
And they're just as delicate as children.
There you go, danger. So I think we get rid of them. Can I have them?
Yeah, I don't need them.
Got a plan.
Here, I'll have your airbags out in 2 minutes.
Are you sure this is... I'm not sure this
Yes.
But the airbag had to be defused by cutting one of the 2 wires.
Which one do I cut? Because one presumably sets the bomb off.
Yes.
Well, I mean, not bomb, but explosives.
Yeah.
How much explosive is in an airbag?
That's a lot.
Is there? Is it really a lot?
Yeah, no, it is a lot. Genuinely, it's a lot. You can get burns from it. That's a lot. So let's go inside the mind of the man who made it.
He's Italian.
Yeah.
So if I think it's blue, it's probably brown.
Wait. Yeah, no, you see, brown, that might be what they want you to think. Wait. What colours are in the Italian flag?
None of those.
I wasn't worried.
We could just edit all that stuff out.
Exactly.
Yeah. While Hammond continued with his safety features, I started making a new dashboard and soon had something to show my colleague. You know, elderly people like to drive quite slowly.
Yeah, like James.
Exactly. So this is what I've done to get around the problem.
Brilliant, so it only reads 20, even if they're doing 80 miles an hour.
115. So it's Hammond doing 17 miles an hour, so they're happy.
Yeah.
The people stuck behind, whose wives are in labour and they have meetings to get to, they're happy. Everybody wins. I was also rather proud of my old people-friendly rear fog light. This will be mounted in the car. This is the switch. So as soon as it starts, a little bit of light drizzle, the elderly person turns on the rear fog light, and then what happens round the back is absolutely nothing at all. With the new dash sorted, I started to think about the rear seats. And I went online to search for an advert I remembered from the early 80s. And that's it, that's it. Hammond, 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 come and look at this. Watch this commercial. Ready?
It's grand to find a comfortable chair when you're getting on a bit or you've got arthritis. My niece got this from Shackleton's, you know.
You know.
Shackleton's original high seat. Never thought it'd be so easy to get in and out of. Shackleton's high seat chair, it's lovely.
Hang on, so you're saying replace that with one of those?
But they're so easy to get in and out of, you know.
You know, and it is lovely to find a nice high seat. Things were better in the old days.
Oh, they were.
Wow. Coming in from the back. Oh, yeah. Come on, that is brilliant.
Our car was coming along nicely. We removed the Fiat badges, which were a bit foreign, and replaced them with something more appropriate. Hammond then softened the suspension, and I installed a pet cage.
The cat bolted to the roof.
Oh, bolting the cat and bolting the cat cage to the roof, and then it'd be up here and I won't get asthma. As I was busy with my cat carrying system, Hammond decided to make some covers for the front seats.
Weirdly, I've used this as my inspiration. It's a BAC mono. Because it's a track car, it's got no roof or doors or windows. So they've lined the interior with this special material. I've got some here in beige, obviously. Now, it's quite plush. It feels like sort of suede or even velvet. But when it gets wet, here's the strange thing. The water just runs off. Look at that. You'd think it'd be ruined, but it just flies away. And I'm going to use it to make what I shall call Inconti seat covers. By the evening, our car was almost finished. But we felt a bit strange. What's extraordinary about today is that without James here, there have been no arguments, nobody's caught fire, nobody's fallen over. We've been like a well-oiled machine, and I think we've created something really rather brilliant. And with that, back to the studio.
I've just got a question, actually. What do you do, while we're on the subject of old people, what do you do when you know that your mother or father is really too old to be driving anymore?
No, it is a good question, because you can't really say, right, I'm going to be a licence.
I think that's why our car makes so much sense.
Yeah, and we shall see how it does in a road test later on.
Yeah.
What happens to your arm? Nothing at all.
No, because you weren't there with your slap-happy attitude, no part of the needle of the sewing machine went in it. Not even a tiny, not even a tiny bit.
No.
So, the news. You know there's a new Volkswagen Golf?
Yes.
Very nice, actually. But in 4 months, there'll be a GTI version of it, OK? Now, that will have 217 horsepower, or actually, no, it's German, isn't it? Cow power. 217 cow power engine, and it's going to be about, what, £25,000? Thing is, though, there's going to be a rival for this. You know the car we looked at last week? The Kia C''D. Well, look at this. This is the They're calling it the Proceed GT. I think that looks rather good. And it's £2 grand less than the Volkswagen.
Yeah, nearly £3 grand less. Actually.
Is it? Oh.
Yeah. And the thing I like about that is they haven't gone absolutely mad with it. It's a 1.6-litre turbo, 200 horsepower, which is, well, actually...
Well, no, it's not horsepower, it's Korean.
Yes, it's dog power.
It's not. I'll tell you what, though, if you don't want to spend that much, the reason I would bring up these hot hatchbacks up is Volkswagen has announced, you know the little Up, which we love?
It's a great little car.
Really brilliant little car. They've announced they're doing a GT version of it here, OK? Now, this is going to have 110 horsepower, so exactly the same as the original Golf GTI. It's smaller than an original Golf GTI, it weighs less than a tonne. I reckon that will be epic, and it's £13,000.
No, I think that could be brilliant. So if you have ordered a new car for later this year, S-Class, Lamborghini Aventador, whatever it is, cancel your order. You want one of those.
You do? That is going to... I can't wait to drive that.
Now, there is another version of the Mini, yet another.
Oh, not another.
There is another one. We needed one in 20 minutes. It's out this month. It's on sale. It's called the Paceman. Here it is. Oh, look at it. It's so miserable, its little face. I saw one coming the other way, coming into work the other day, and it just looked so catastrophically sad. Morning, it's all over. I hate being a Mini. I had to sleep outside and a dog weed on my wheel last night, and all the big cars steal my petrol money. Look at it.
Hammond, do that face again. You do look incredibly like it.
Do look It's so depressing. Why have they done that?
I tell you what, though, for radiator grills, have you seen the new Lexus IS? That's like it's got a vacuum cleaner on the front.
To lift your feet as it goes past.
How hard can it be to do a radiator grill? Hey, bad news. You know, when the Tories came to power, they said they were going to up the motorway speed limit to 80, yeah? Well, the new Transport Secretary, who's called something dreary, Patrick McLaughlin, he's had a rethink.
Oh.
No, he says that he's unlikely to up it to 80 because in his constituency there's a very bad road where a lot of people get hurt.
Yeah, now this is quite interesting, isn't it? Because his constituency is the Derbyshire Dales. We had a look at a map, and there are no motorways.
Yes, so what this means, ladies and gentlemen, is our Transport Secretary in Great Britain doesn't know what a motorway is. Well, that is a blithering idiot.
No, but in all seriousness, you can't really have a Minister for Transport who isn't interested in, for example, cars and roads.
It would be like making you the Governor of the Bank of England.
Don't do that.
No, because you're not interested in the economy.
Well, no, but I could sort it out.
How?
Well, I could sort out the budget deficit. Well, I'd find out how much it was, and then I'd write a cheque for that amount from the Bank of England.
You probably has a point. That could do it.
Well, maybe
That's economics covered.
Well, and I'd have minted a £9.99 note to make life easier for shopkeepers. Can I just say, actually, changing the motorway speed limit to 80 miles an hour wouldn't actually make a blind bit of difference, would it? Because everybody in the outside lane of the motorway is doing 95.
They are.
And you are.
No, they are. There's no point in people go, everyone does 80 on the motorway, and they think they don't. They're doing 95 in the
So all an 80-mile-an-hour speed limit would do is reduce the income from speeding fines because you're only going to be doing 15 miles an hour over the limit rather than 25.
The fact is that on a weekday afternoon, I'm not talking about weekends when the roads are clogged up with people in Peugeots going to B&Q to buy more hideous decking. I'm talking about a weekday afternoon. Britain has the best standard of driving you'll find anywhere in the world.
No, you're right. You're right. I would agree with that.
Is it? Right, let's run through the opposition, shall we? The Germans all do 150 on the Autobahn that far behind the car in front. The Italians are mad. The French can't get to the greengrocers without crashing into a field. The Americans are belligerent. The Australians are drunk. The rest of the world hasn't got the hang of it yet.
What about the Scandinavians? Because they're pretty...
No, they're not half as good as they think they are.
Really?
They always say, I can drive, but they ain't... Well, I went to the accident. I can drive...
Overreached yourself there, didn't you?
They always say I can drive at 75 miles an hour on sheet ice, and that's true, they can, but they don't tell you the other thing, they crash all the time.
There isn't a florist window anywhere in Scandinavia that hasn't got a crash van halfway through it. They just spin off constantly.
They do.
OK, so scrub the Scandinavians, then we're the best.
We are just the best, and that's an end.
I think we should have a campaign, a global one, posters by the motorway with a Lord Kitchener-type figure on that says, think What would the British do?
Oh, Alfa Romeo, they have a proud history, don't they, of really excellent names. Evocative emotive names. Julia, Spider, Juliet.